Yes.
Been a long time. Shouldn't have left you without a dope beat.
It's Steel.
Step two.
But you can't be any geek off the street. Gotta be handy with the steel, if you know what I mean.
Keep it real.
Keeping it real.
Step two. Step two. Step two. Step two. Step two. Step two. It's been a long time. Shouldn't have left you.
Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Steven and this is Steel Keeping It Real. So this particular episode or video isn't anyone that goes along with my normal music videos. This is me getting to a point where I felt like I had to say something.
Hold on to your lug nut.
I am a Doctor Who fan.
That's right, I said it.
Wanted to get it out of the way. I do love Doctor Who. Now, I was introduced to Doctor Who somewhere in the early 80s. I believe it was the end of the Tom Baker time frame and went into the Peter Davison time frame. And so those are the Doctor Who's that got me started. And you would think, like with Doctor Who, you know, this would be something easy to get into, but it's not.
Do tell.
You know, I grew up on Land of the Lost and H.R. Pup and stuff and things like that, where there were other creatures that might show up and things could get a little bit scary. But Doctor Who was different. And to me, I felt that the problem with Doctor Who was that it was trying to tell a story that was way too big for the budget that they had.
Point line.
But then fast forward to 2005 and I don't have cable or I don't have the right channels yet. I see an ad for the new Doctor Who with David Tennant because you know, the other guy, Christopher Eccleston, had already done the first season and it went into David Tennant. And I'm like, oh, this looks great. Oh, and they got money for special effects. Ah, shit.
That's the way you do it.
And I was in there from the very beginning all the way up until now. And I'm not saying that I'm not still a Doctor Who fan. I'm just saying, like a lot of people are saying, is that this particular transition was almost a little too much for the average fan. And I'll get to it. You know, I mentioned those other shows like HR Pup and stuff and things like that. And one of the other things, me being a Gen Xer, is that we were also, you know, exposed to people like Ethel Merman.
You'll be swell. You'll be great. Gonna have the whole world on a plate. Starting here, start now, honey. Everything's coming up roses.
So then the new season comes out, or this particular new season comes out, and they have a bad guy known by Jinx Monsoon that comes on the scene like an Ethel Merman.
You called.
Now, for some, you know, having this, it was a little too much. I mean, if you definitely are not liberal, if you are conservative, if you have any problems with anybody who is not of the same, you know, sexuality that you are definitely going to have a problem with this Doctor Who.
Ha! Gay!
And I get it. And then once everything was finished, it was like, okay, I get it. And, you know, we had to go through weird things with this particular doctor, because it all started off with, you know, number one, seeing Cutie Gatwa on Sex Education, you couldn't help but fall in love with him because he was an adorable character. And, you know, that whole show dealt with all types of sexuality, whether it be, you know, anything from the alphabet, LGBTQ plus, whatever. Those people were represented on that show to the best of, I consider, anybody's ability for a show that would be entertaining, that would keep people engaged, that would make them lovable characters. This was one, and Cutie had that character in Eric.
Hey man, I'm
Handsome.
sorry, you are
Eric. Eric. Excuse me? I gave 2.5 handjobs to that guy I met in Butlins. 1.5? We got interrupted. Stupid surprise karaoke. Hey!
Now, when you're telling somebody like that, okay, yeah, he's going to be the next Doctor Who. I'm like,
Get the fuck out of here.
so they did it in a weird way where they actually brought back the best or the most favored Doctor Who and David Tennant. They brought that back after Jodie Whittaker being Doctor Who. They brought back David Tennant.
Right then. Doctor whoever I'm about to be. Tag. You're it.
I know these teeth. What? What? What?
And so for 3 episodes that were dealing with a big bad guy that was played by Neil Patrick Harris, another person who is part of that community, they brought him back. And they also brought back, you know, Donna Noble, and it just so happened that now Donna Noble has a child who is trans, who is black, and deal with it. And then you also have an alien that wants to go by pronouns.
The meat. I promise I can help him get home and then you'll never see me again.
You're assuming he as a pronoun.
True. Yes, sorry, good point.
It's it was a lot to take at one particular episode, or like, here you go, here's your new Doctor Who, and it's like, oh wow, this is how my Doctor Who is going to be.
Outrageous! Outrageous!
And so you get the episode that introduces Dr. Giggles' daughter, which being Jinx Monsoon. And I will say this.
Well, we're waiting.
That has probably been the best Doctor Who villain in a long time. If you were going to have somebody that outlandish, that, you know, flamboyant, that, you know, whatever that this was, I don't think anybody could have done a better job. And to be able to sing and to dance and to do all these things, because I also believe that particular Doctor Who had a dance and a sing number as well. It was like, come on, you're giving us all this stuff, and it really didn't need it. But, you know, I believe that Russell Davis felt that it was appropriate. He's also come on, you know, saying like he doesn't give a care about anybody anymore.
Yes, it's funny because, to be absolutely honest, it's almost not that deliberate. That's the life that I lead, and I've been doing this. I wrote a series called Queer as Folk in 1999 that broke down many barriers, and I'm never going to step back from that. And in fairness, no one's ever asked me to step back from that. And I just think it doesn't even feel particularly queer to me. It just feels natural. This is the world, and it's 2024, and we're all embracing this. Twitter might kick off, and in dark little corners people might argue, but that's not the real world. The real world is one of acceptance, and with battles to be fought and votes to be gained. You know, it's like I'm not naive to the problems that exist, but
these are his ideas, and basically they gave him free reign to do whatever he wants, and this is what he's going to do.
A so-called eat my dick.
So there we go. It even was weird just how they made the Doctor, you know, into cutie.
What's happening?
Could you pull?
Could I? What?
Can you?
What do you mean?
Pull.
Oh.
Just pull each way. I don't know. Feels different this time. Ow!
What?
What?
No way.
You're me.
Not me. I think I'm really, really me. I am completely me. Don't you stand there? Push. Push. Does this work? I don't know.
From David Tennant, and I'm still kind of confused because I don't know, does the old Doctor, because they basically have him, you know, in retirement somewhere hanging out with Donna Noble, does he still have the Doctor powers? Does he still have his TARDIS? Does he still, can he still time travel, or is he, you know, settled into just sitting at home with Donna Noble and her trans, you know, child and things of that nature? Because there was a point in time when it was Matt Smith, where Matt Smith had a hard time sitting still and doing one thing for a long period of time, trying to be domestic. So I don't see David Tennant Doctor Who being able to be domesticated for that long. We'll see. Now we have two Doctors at once. But I will say that with a lot of other ones, it's not so much of Doctor Who being gay.
Ha! Gay!
We've had the Doctor Who characters being gay before. You know, there's Captain Jack.
So am I right in thinking that you and he...
We dabble.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So what's his dabbling like?
Innovative.
Really?
Bordering on the avant-garde.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
There was the reptile lady who had her mate.
You don't need to flirt with me. We're already married. It's scientific nonsense, of course. Marriage? Hush.
There were others that I just can't remember right now, but you know, they were introduced in such a way or portrayed in such a way where it wasn't necessarily offensive. Yes, when Torchwood came around, you know, you had Captain Jack kissing and getting out of bed with people or whatever.
Rose, you are worth fighting for. Wish I'd never met you, Doctor. I was much better off as a coward.
but still it was about the story, and still we were already used to Captain Jack being, he might be on this fence or I might be on that fence. You just never know. He'll hit on anybody, and it's like, okay, we get it. We understand that. That's who this particular character is. So when it comes around to this particular Doctor Who, it starts off very flamboyant. He starts off, he is almost like he took that same character from Sex Education and brought it to Doctor Who, and it was almost like a continuance. Like that was what Doctor Who was supposed to be. So you go there, he starts off very flamboyant. He starts off like a Ken doll, where every single episode he's changing clothes, and you're like, come on, really?
Get on with it. Yes, get on with it.
But then you don't realize, as a person, but, of course the producers do, that he's still not done doing Sex Education. So that's why you see certain episodes where he's only on a screen or something like that. He's not there. And that's because he's still doing the other show, and they can't get him away for periods of time. They can put a camera in front of him just like, people can do now on a green screen, and you can get away with anything.
Oh, yeah. You don't know me, but my name is the Doctor, and your life is in danger, okay?
And a lot of people start to say that's when his episodes started becoming good, because he wasn't there as much. And it was because of that particular attitude that he had, or that he was bringing, wasn't on display as much. It was more about the story and what was going on. It was more or easier for people to focus on.
That boy is good.
And so, when you get into, the finale, which I just watched, I actually tried to do a reaction to it, but
You failed.
I can't do things like that yet. I'm just not right in the head when it comes to doing that. I saw the finale. In the last 2 episodes, he's dressed like George Michaels from the Faith video.
Give me the loving.
With the jean jacket and the jeans and the white shirt and everything like that. And it's like, oh, this is Doctor Who? Okay, this is what we're doing. And the other thing is that almost every single episode that Cutie is in, he has to cry. And it's some cry more than one. So are you basically saying that now that Doctor Who is gay, he's a little bit more in tune with his feelings?
What's that? What are you trying to say?
Is that what you're trying to say? That you have to be gay in order to be in touch with your feelings like he is? Because the other doctors hardly ever cried. I don't know what you guys are trying to say with all that, but it does get a little exhausting. Each and every episode he's crying. Each and every episode somebody's crying, and it's just like, come on. Now, the last episode, or the last 2 episodes, you kind of have to be a real Whovian in order to really get everything and be truly like, hey, this is a great episode or whatever, in order to truly get it, because you're going all the way back or referencing an item from the 80s, almost like what Star Trek did with Wrath of Khan. You're getting Khan, but Khan way back in the 60s, and here we are in the 80s, and what are we going to do now? And so, it wasn't a bad story. I still like Doctor Who. I will still love Doctor Who.
No shit, Jet. No shit.
Regardless of who you have in that spot, no matter what you want to try to do with it, Doctor Who is an establishment that I think should be cherished.
For the love of God, cherish it.
You gotta cherish it.
That I think a little bit more care should be made with the character and how he is portrayed throughout the years. Again, I get it. We have a change, but a lot of times things are changing faster than some of us would like to have happened. And it's like, well, you got to kind of ease me in on these kind of things if that's what you're wanting to make this big statement about, you got to kind of ease me in. And I don't feel like they did that with this Doctor Who. But again, if you are a fan of Doctor Who, eventually you will get it. People who don't like this particular Doctor Who, go back and watch the Jodie Whittaker ones. You'll love those. You're like, oh, these are awesome. When just like maybe a year ago, you were talking shit. Like, she was the worst one. Or go back and watch the Peter Capaldi ones when you guys were talking shit. Like, oh, these are horrible. I want Matt Smith and David Tennant. And watch those compared to what happened now. And you're like, dang, Peter Capaldi was a genius. Oh my God, what did I get? That's what will happen to you. So, I waited until a lot of that noise died out of what people were saying before I wanted to make my little statement on Doctor Who. Doctor Who is a good show. Doctor Who has a lot of special effects. Doctor Who has a lot of characters that you want to get into, that you want to know, and depending on how long they're around, you'll get to know for years, and they'll be beloved, and like, oh yeah, Rose, and the Dr. Donna, and what's her name? Why can't I remember her name? Jones, the only black companion that the Doctor had. You have her, you have Clara, you have Mickey, you have all these people that you get invested in, as well as the Doctor, as well as the Sontaran dude and the lizard lady that come to his aid when he needs it. You get invested into all these people, and it's like, you know what, I'm here for it. And regardless of what you do with Doctor Who, I'm here for it. Just, make the stories better. The stories started getting really good after Space Babies. The stories kind of started getting really good and started getting engaged, and people were on the edge of their seat going like, oh, what's going to happen? Oh, and, there were jump scares, and there were all these kind of things. So I can only imagine what the next season of Doctor Who is going to be, but I can tell you that there shouldn't be that shock value that came with this particular Doctor and what they were trying to do, or maybe some other plans or agendas that they might have had. I don't think that you can make it worse. As far as the character, I don't think you can make him any more, gay, flamboyant or whatever. Or if anything, you might want to, curtail that. But if that's not what you want to do, then that's not what you want to do. We are at the mercy of the directors and the producers or whatever. So whatever you put out there, that's what we have to watch. If there's not enough of us watching it, then somebody's going to come after you and say, look, you're going to have to change this, or you're going to have to change that. And just because you have to change certain things doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad thing. You realize that even within your life, if that's the lifestyle that you choose, not everything that you want to do can fly. I hope I'm not saying anything really out of character. It's just, I have no problem with the community at all. I really don't. It's just Doctor Who. I mean, I've had to deal with this where I've watched Star Trek Discovery, and they've had a lot of those characters, a lot of characters that was LGBTQ, even T on that show, and it works within the confines because we're talking about the future, and there shouldn't anybody, me, even though I'm here in the 2000s watching something that happened 500, 600, 700 years in the future, it's basically saying like, look, nobody has a problem with this shit then. You guys shouldn't even be having a problem with it now. And we don't. It's just a lot of it's happening all at once. And you know what?
That's all I have to say about that.
But I like Doctor Who. I love Doctor Who. I will forever watch Doctor Who. I'm not going to be those kind of people like, I'm not watching it anymore. I'm angry. I'm this, I'm that. Because there's a lot of you out there who are getting a lot of views because there's a, you're inciting a lot of people to go like, yeah, I feel the same way. And I don't want to do that. I just want to say, you know what? Watch it if you want to. It's a good show. If you don't want to watch it, then don't watch it. If you really really don't, if you want to come on YouTube or whatever channel you have and say shit about it, then by all means, it's your right to do so. And that's basically what this is all about. It's your right to do so. This is my right to make this video, and I hope that it swells a lot of things and it doesn't make people, you know, so like, I don't want to watch this because it's... So there you go. If you are still here, I thank you very much for staying tuned. I really do appreciate it. First and foremost, I want you guys to like the videos as much as I like making them for you. After that, all you need to do to help me out with the channel is to like, subscribe, share, and comment. Peace.